Okay, my dear students, let us start today's lecture. Today's class is very important in so many regard because today we are going to learn how you can write your chapter 2 or literature review chapter. Okay, so basically in this video I'm going to explain how you can write your chapter 2. But before we start, there are some very important things we need to understand. If there is any query, any question, you can just post in the comment box, so I will try to answer your questions. Okay, but before that, let us start few very important concepts. What is your chapter 2 and how we are going to write your chapter 2 in your FYP or in your assignments. Okay, here I will explain the literature review process, the literature review concepts, and then we are going to practice them. And I will give you 2 weeks to write your literature review chapter, and this chapter would be comprised of around 1000 to 2000 words. Okay, but don't worry, it would be very easy for you to understand these concepts, and I will try to make it simpler for you to practice these basic concepts. But before start, can we just write your keywords in the comment box? Can you write your keywords you selected for your research question or for your literature review? I already asked you to write few keywords. So can you write your keywords, the key questions or key things you want to search in the Scopus or any internet or any database? So please write your keywords. So I should understand whether you are clear about these concepts or not. So please, I'm giving you 2 minutes to write your keywords. Okay, so okay, remote working, entrepreneurship, women development. Okay, good. Okay, I think these concepts are quite okay, no problem. I hope so. Most of us are clear on these things. But how we are going to start our chapter 2 writing? Okay, now what I did, I divided chapter 2 into three basic components. Okay, so let's see what are these components. I prepared this a very short presentation to make a very clear picture of how you are going to write chapter 2. Okay, so in this chapter 2 you have three major elements. Okay, the first one is writing about your constructs, and we know what are the constructs: variable, dependent, independent, mediator or moderator. Okay, so for example, my moderator or mediator or maybe dependent, independent, they can be different variable. In my case, the example I was taking since the start, it is basically digital marketing. Okay, now digital marketing on sales. So my constructs are digital marketing and sales. Okay, so there are two constructs, dependent and independent. Okay, now each of these constructs which you have already identified during your process of research question and finding out your variable in the last lecture, now we are going to use those key terms, those variables, to search the literature. Okay, now to find out the literature, there are many methods available, but at your level I will try to make it very simple for you. That's why I give you a few techniques or tricks. So let's start with this. You have to write about your constructs. Okay, for example, if my constructs are digital marketing and sales, so I have to write about digital marketing. So what is digital marketing, how do we measure it, and what are the different concepts related to digital marketing. Okay, and then we go with the sales, what is sales, what is the measure used for sales, and all this. Okay, now this is about the constructs, not the relationship between two or more variables. Okay, it is just dependent or constructs. Okay, the next step would be theoretical development. In next step you have to write about the theory involved in your research, and about the theory I have already taken a complete lecture, so you can check that lecture and try to figure out what are the relevant theories related with your work. So that would be the second part. And the third part is writing about the hypothesis. Okay, if you have any hypothesis or if you have any claims on your research, so that is why you have to write about the hypothesis development. Okay, now hypothesis development is very simple. It is from the research question. In the previous example, if you remember, I gave you my research question is what is the relationship between digital marketing and sales, and then I defined operational definition of my variable digital marketing. So operational definition of digital marketing, in my case digital marketing operational definition is marketing using Facebook and WhatsApp. I think this is what we have already discussed in our previous class, and it is also available in my last lecture. You can check it out. Okay, now my operational definition about the digital marketing is Facebook marketing and WhatsApp marketing. Now what would be my hypothesis? Now, my hypotheses are very simple. Facebook marketing has a positive effect on sales, or Facebook marketing influence sales, company sales. Okay, and then WhatsApp marketing has a positive effect on sales, or WhatsApp marketing has a influence on sales. So this is very simple hypothesis which I developed from operational definition and research question. I hope so this concept is very clear how we develop hypothesis. Okay, now again let me just conclude. Our chapter 2 writing would be based on constructs first, then theoretical development, and then hypothesis development. Okay, you have to explain the relationship between each variable, that is hypothesis development, and finally you have to present the conceptual framework. And we know that what is conceptual framework? It is the graphical representation of your work. Okay, now let us start how we are going to do this in very simple way. So you have to follow my steps. So first of all, do you have access to scopus.com, this website? I ask everybody to search this. Is it okay? Everybody have this? Can you write your answer? If you have yes, then yes. If no, please you can ask other people who have already access, so you can ask them to help you how they receive this access to this Scopus. Okay, good. Okay, good. So if anybody have any issue, please contact with those students who have already managed to get this Scopus access already. Okay, so please make sure everybody is on this page. So make sure you are on this page. Okay, everybody is on this page. Okay, now the first thing I have to write is our keywords. Okay, now the keywords are very important. Keywords are very crucial in order to get your right or your related literature. Okay, so in that case you have to identify your keywords very carefully. That would be a very important search word. So in my case, my work is on digital marketing, so I'll just going to write now digital marketing. But you can see here I have not included any inverted commas or anything. Okay, so when I just write that keyword and try to search, you can see here the scoopers have searched the word digital and marketing. So any paper, any article, any document which is available in scoopers and have digital and marketing, two words, digital or and marketing. So it doesn't necessarily it is a complete word or it is available in abstract or anywhere. It's just digital and marketing. So that is why you can see 9058 documents are there. But this is not a right way to do your research, because my in my case digital marketing is one complete keyword. It is not two keywords, okay? It is one keyword. So that is why when I have a complete phrase or I have a multiple words which address my one keyword, so that is why I have to write inverted commas before and after these words. Okay, so if you can see now, inverted comma, digital marketing, and then inverted comma. So if I search it again, you will see a very less number of documents available on the internet. Okay, now this is a simple 1333 documents. Okay, clear? So everybody is clear here. Can you try this? And if you are clear and you have tried it, please mark yes here. So please try it. I'm giving you 2 minutes to try this concept. Try to apply this one. Okay, now if you see this side here, you can see multiple options are there. Now this digital marketing would be search in article title, abstract, or keywords. For example, I am interested only in article title or abstract or keywords, not in other. Uh, so let's just start with article title to make it more easier for you. So now when I started this search, you can see there was 9053 articles now. But when I use this inverted commas, now I have only 1333 words, titles. And then if I restricted my search from article title only, and then I search, you will see the article only with this digital marketing is used in their title. Okay, so you can see it's only 399 documents. Okay, if you see 399 documents here, in all these title, digital marketing keyword is available. Okay, now this is for our, you see, digital marketing is everywhere. So this is first step of searching relevant literature. Okay, now what we did, we started with scoopers, we started with digital marketing, and then we started with we searched the literature with the keyword digital marketing, but only in the article titles. Okay, so this is the simple parameters of searching your relevant literature. But here one thing you should understand, I am not searching literature based on the relationship between two variables like digital marketing and sales. I am just searching digital marketing because the first thing I have to write in my chapter 2 is about digital marketing, not digital marketing and sales. So first I'll try to explain what is digital marketing and how different researchers they have explained the concept of digital marketing, and later on what are the different measures available for digital marketing concepts. So what I am trying to do is, let me show you one document if I have that document here. Okay, now this is one research thesis. Okay, in this thesis the main concept is sustainable manufacturing. Okay, now this is the variable sustainable manufacturing. Okay, now the first thing we did, it is not based on the relationship between sustainable manufacturing or with any other. It is just sustainable manufacturing, one concept, and I'm trying to explain the concept from different definitions. So this is the table which you have to prepare for your research also. Just a simple table, sustainable manufacturing defined. So here I mention, okay, this is the author name, and this is how he or she defined the digital marketing or the sustainable manufacturing. And then I develop some concepts. What are the major concepts in his definition? For example, if it is digital marketing, what are the digital marketing? He is considering online platforms, digital platforms. So what are the main concepts? So here, if you see sustainable manufacturing, here I check this one. Is it eco-efficient through waste management? One, recycling and environmental friendly production. Two. So it have two different concepts combined in one definition. Here, if I see designs of for environment, this is the manufacturing procedure. Remanufacturing, recycling, and cleaner production for environment preservation. That is for from the definition. Okay, so you can take this definition and then you can divide these definition into the different concept. But first thing is how you are going to develop this table. Okay, this is what I am going to teach you today, how you are going to develop this table, and then how you are going to explain this table in your chapter 2. Okay, in your research. Okay, let's start again. Okay, we were here, we have 399 documents. Okay, for example, if I want to explain or if I want to uh, divide it more, so you can see the year wise composition of the paper, author base, subject area, document type, whether it is article, conference paper, or any other thing, publication state, published or article in press, source title. Okay, so mean that in which journal these articles are being published, keywords of those article. Okay, and then affiliations of the authors. Okay, you can see this all sponsor country. So I'm just interested to see digital marketing in Malaysia. So what I'll do, I'll just try to reduce this to Malaysian research only. Okay, so I'm just trying to reduce my research, or the scope of the research I'm going to narrow down. Okay, now view all. If I click on view all, I'm interested to see, here is Malaysia. Okay, so I just click on Malaysia and click here, limit to. Now you can see only 7 documents are available, which is based on digital marketing and only Malaysian perspective. Okay, is it clear? Any question on this? Any question on any of these concepts? Okay, so can you try or can you practice this? Is it clear? Are you following me? Okay, can you write your answer if it is clear, or if any question? Okay, now we have a limited number of papers, only 7 documents. So that is why we can proceed to the next step. So what would be the optimum number? So at your level, try to make it not more than 10 to 15 articles only. Okay, so you just try to make 10 to 15 articles from your area of interest for each variable. Okay, so how we go to next point? Here you have to export these in your Excel sheet. Okay, Now how you can do that, follow these steps. Just click here, click all, and then click here to export. Okay, so this is the export button. So click here, export, and you will see all this information. Just click all information required and click here as a CSV. Okay, so can you follow this step? Just click on all information required and then click on CSV file, and at the end of this screen you will see export button. Okay, now this is export button. Can you just press this export button and you will get these 7 article in your Scopus file. Okay, clear? Now these are the 7 articles available in Excel sheet. Okay, clear? Okay, now let's see. If you can see here, you will find the abstract of article. So if you double click, you can read complete abstract for each article. Okay, okay, if you want to find out the article, you can just click here on the title, and then view at publisher, and you can directly go to this article. Okay, this is from where you can download or view your full text for that article. Okay, so it means that if you want to copy or if you want to see in your so if you want to download the PDF file of complete paper, that is also available here. So you can see this is the article which we were considering for. Okay, now for example, if I want to see who are the authors and all these details, it is already available in your Google Sheet or in your Word file. Okay, sorry, Excel sheet. Okay, now this is a very simple process. You can just follow these steps and you can bring this Excel sheet here. Okay, now the next step would be you have to write very basic concepts. This is the table. You have to write author name, definitions, and themes. These 3 things you need to bring from your literature review part. Okay, okay, now just follow this pattern. Write the name of the author here. Okay, here you can write the name of the author. Then you have to define the concept. For example, digital marketing. So try to find out what they talk about the digital marketing in their paper. For example, what is digital marketing in their research? So just copy and paste that concept and bring it here from the basic document. Okay, for example, from this document. Okay, if I want to see what is the digital marketing, I have to quickly go through these concepts and then just copy and paste if the concept is available in any of these research papers. Okay, so just try to figure out if the concept of digital marketing has been explained. Okay, so you have to check with different concepts and different. Okay, now this is the first step. You have to explain you have to bring this data to Excel sheet, and then you have to create this table for the each concept. Okay, now let me show you how you can do this. For example, here these three columns, the first column is for author, the second column is for the definition of the concept, and the final is basically the theme or measures which you can extract from the topic. Okay, now let's see how I explain this concept here. Okay, what I did, I just write these concepts in a very simple manner here. Okay, for example, the sustainable term manufacturing was initially, and then the term sustainable more released to environmental effect only. Okay, now for example, first researcher, he mentioned that related to environmental issues. So just we have to explain these concepts in detail, which you already mentioned in the table. So first you bring the table, and the second step is just to explain that table. This is for the construct. Okay, now this Excel sheet is available for you. The second point you can do is you can just break this Excel sheet here. After this abstract, just insert one column. Okay, after this abstract, just insert one column, and right here is simple method. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to see which method they used. For example, if I study the first concept, if you can see information technology and they have used structural equation modeling. If you see structural equation modeling, it means that the method is quantitative. Okay, then you can see all these researchers, they use quantitative or qualitative method. How you can figure out, for example, just reading by this abstract, you can find out the paper managing the digital on a coffee shop using Instagram application, great advantages. So Instagram versus strategic tools. So what they did, mm, the content analysis. Okay, so the content analysis and semi-structured interview, you can see this word here, the content analysis and semi-structured interview. In that case, we are very clear, this is a qualitative method. Okay, when we do interviews and in-depth structured interviews or content analysis, this is qualitative. When we do any statistical analysis, that is quantitative method. Okay, so you have to identify whether this is quantitative or qualitative. So this table, you can just include this table in your writing and just explain. Okay, the author, this is the Khwaja et al. Khwaja et al. Have identified the digital marketing as a concept of marketing their product online, and he used quantitative concept or quantitative method in his research, and his finding find out. Now how we can find out the finding? The research study provide the comprehensive framework for reconfiguring factors too. So you just copy and paste this one. Okay, so you can just copy and paste this one in writing. Okay, now how I can write this, let me show you. Okay, now in my literature review I will write, okay, for example, this is Khwaja et al. 2018. Okay, Now they provided a comprehensive framework to reconfigure factors that lead to customer purchase intention on the digital economy. Okay. Okay. Now we can just use this one. Okay. Now this is what I extracted from a complete paper and just using his abstract, and then mention that okay, person A has done this work. Okay. Now let's move to the next point, the next user or next author. Okay. Now this author is basically a very difficult name. I am not sure how to pronounce it, but still it is okay. Now the year is 2020. Okay. Now the year is 2020. So again, if we have more than one or three author, then we just 2020. Now how we can work is okay. This is the finding. The findings of the study, I am just copying again. Findings. Okay, now he used qualitative because this is what we understand from here. So you can mention this one. Here you can see this qualitative analysis. So this author et al. Used qualitative analysis. The finding of the study revealed that Instagram application has become an effective marketing communication tool to disseminate the promotional message to the customer in quick way, and it is and cost efficient as compared to traditional media. Okay, now this is, you can see, the second author. Very simple. So what I did, I just copied and now you are looking at how I'm just preparing and the concept. So first I mentioned his work, and then I mentioned second, and then I mentioned third and fourth. So the way, this is the way how I am using these content in order to produce my literature review. But remember, from Scoopus we can directly export data, or you can check all these abstract here also one by one. It's up to you. But if you have already export data in your Excel sheet, you can just use that Excel sheet to write about your work, and then you just bring one table for each construct and then explain. So this table should be contain 5 to 10 research studies. Okay, 5 to 10 research studies on each construct. Okay, on each construct, 5 to 10, and try to bring these studies from past 3 to 4 years, not more than this. Okay, if you have more studies, just focus on 1 year. And if you, for example, your concept have been studied a lot and you have more than 1000 or 2000 documents, then you just follow 1 year and one country. In that case, you will bring up to 1 to 2, maybe 50 or 60. Even then, if you are not able to categorize those 5 or 10, there is another criteria. Once you exported this data into Excel sheet, for example, you have more than 50 articles here and you just need only 10 articles. Okay, so how you are going to use those? You just check here the cited by and sort it cited by. The more cited, you can take only top 10 most cited article from 2020, or top 10 or top 5 most cited article in 2020. So you can prepare the table, and the table format I have already explained. It should be like this. Okay, and then there should be three columns: the authors, the definition, and the theme, the concept. For example, in his work, if you see, he's talking about digital marketing and digital marketing on Instagram application. So what would be his operational definition? Mean the concept is Instagram, right? The digital marketing using only Instagram. So here I can mention, okay, digital marketing and marketing using Instagram platform is his definition. Okay, so you can define the concept the way they have already explained in this. So you have to use a little bit of your mind, but I think that would be very easy for you. Okay, so is it clear up till here? Can I move to next point? So here you have to write about your constructs. You have to develop a table of 5 to 10 studies each for each construct. Okay, and you have to define how people they have defined the concept in their research, and then you have to write about the explanation of that particular table. Okay, so you just need to bring table and then explanation. So if you have 10 articles or 10 lines in one table, you just explain all these 10 in very simple 2 or 3 lines. Okay, so by doing this you are just trying to bring the knowledge or bring the research from there. Okay, is it clear? Can I move forward? The concept is clear. Okay, if yes, please write down yes. So you would be able to do this, right? You are trying with me, right? So please try at least for one concept and try to write it. I'm giving you 5 minutes to write your first concept, and if you do it, please mark in your. Okay, so please try it, and if it is clear, we can proceed further. Okay, this is the first part. Let's move to the second part now. The first part is very clear, where you have to write about your constructs. Okay, and I mentioned that you have to bring the definition, and the definition, it may be available in the document, or you have to construct by yourself. For example, I gave you example. The second author, he used uh, Instagram application as a source of digital marketing. So his operational definition is that digital marketing using Instagram application. So that would be his definition. Okay, and then you have to explain this, and you can bring these concepts from the abstract. So you don't need to read complete article. You can just read their abstract and decide few points. Okay, whether their research is qualitative or quantitative, whether what is their operational definition of the concept. Okay, so you can just easily write those concepts. Okay, now once you are done with that, for example, you have identified the 10 main or important studies in that particular research area. At the end, you have to add one paragraph where you have to mention what is your stance. Okay, each one, from the each one you have to mention, okay, let's say top 10 studies, they mention the digital marketing different platforms. So at the end of that uh, at the end of that all these 10 definitions or 10 concepts which you have mentioned in your chapter 2 in your construct, you have to summarize the finding in terms of conclusion. Okay, so conclusion, one paragraph. You don't need to write a separate conclusion, but just a continuation. For example, I am talking about the digital marketing, so write about the 10 different research articles who have done work on the digital marketing, and at the end, to close that, you have to write one concluding paragraph. Okay, so make sure you should write at least 250 to 500 words per construct. Okay, the minimum requirement for this assignment. Okay, so 200 to 250 to 500 word per construct. So if you have two constructs, so mean that 500 and 500. Okay, let's move. This is based on the constructs now. So let's move again. Now this is for the constructs. Now what about the relationships? We have already discussed about the theoretical development, which I already mentioned in the previous class. So you can go and check out my lectures, previous lecture, and where I discuss about theoretical development. So which you have, I hope so you have already done that theoretical development part as your class activity. Okay. Now the next step is to find out the hypothesis development. So what is my hypothesis? Do you remember? This is my hypothesis. Okay, if I bring, so first of all you have to generate your hypothesis, the claim, and then you bring it here. Now Facebook marketing and sales. Now there are two keywords which I mentioned, Facebook marketing and sales. So what I did, I just tried to explain this. Okay, there is no concept, so just try to change this, Facebook and sales. Now you can see there are 13 documents available. Okay, digital marketing and Chinese wildlife marketing and sales on Facebook. You can clearly check this. So again, this is about the relationship. Okay, clear? So this is about the relationship. Okay, is it clear here? So first concept was about the constructs. Now I'm talking about the each hypothesis. So for each hypothesis, you have to write some construct, some documents also. Okay, so again, I search the relationship because this is the relationship between Facebook and sales, which is my first hypothesis. Okay, what I did, I searched this Facebook and sales. So when I use this word Facebooks and sales, I receive this 13 document, and again I just export these 13 documents again the way I exported previous one. Now I can see these are my 13 documents for sales. Okay, the relationship between sales and marketing, sorry, Facebook. Okay, now how I'm going to write this again, this is the author. This is the author name and year is 2020. I'm just removing all the unnecessary words. Okay, so this is author, Okay, if there are three, so that's why I'm just putting and 2020. What they did. Now we need to figure out what they did. So how we can figure out? We can check the abstract. Okay. So if abstract, I can see that at an estimation, this is a serious threat to the global conservation, the element of experience. So okay, now what he did, he just simply okay, sales of the wildlife. Simple word which I mentioned, I took from his abstract. Okay, now they are abstract. And even from here, you can bring some data. For example, the Facebook community, okay, this one, for example, you can use any of his data. Facebook community pages appear to have the highest percentage of wildlife selling posts. We also identified 14 different countries and regions that they have. They also identified located in Taiwan. Okay. Now this is, you are writing about the relationship. Okay. Now again, you have to mention five at least five studies for the relationship, and then for each relationship you have to identify five studies and then the relationship, sorry, the hypothesis. Okay, but again, once you talk about first study, then second, then third, and then again you have to summarize as a simple conclusion, and then you write, okay, your hypothesis. So what is my hypothesis here? If I took it from here, once I write all these definitions, I will write, okay, my hypothesis. So we can conclude that Facebook marketing has an, this is my hypothesis one. So Facebook marketing has a positive effect on Facebook. Marketing has a positive effect on sales. Okay. Now, if this is not my piece of cake, means that I'm not interested in wildlife selling, so I can ignore this and I can go to the next point. That is why I asked you, you can download 10, 15 and then just select only 4 or 5 relevant studies which are related to your work. Okay, so this is how you do your literature review in very simple way. Okay, so what you need to do is, again, you have to write 250 to 500 words for each hypothesis. Okay, again I'm mentioning this, 250 to 500 words for each hypothesis. Okay, is it clear now? Now if there is any question, you can write down your question in the comments, so I can if there is no question, I can proceed further. Okay. So is it clear? Kindly practice one construct or one relationship quickly, and if there is any question, you can just ask me here. Yes, better to use only 2020 article or 2019 also okay. But this is depending on the number of paper you already have. If your topic is too broader and you have a lot of paper, then just use only 2020 and just use 5 to 10 articles. But the most recent are encouraged. So use most recent one. You can use 2020, you can use 2019, okay? Okay. So let's just conclude this session in that case. If you are clear about these concepts and you can do this easily, let me just conclude this session so you can do your work. And if there is any question, you can ask me in your next class. Okay. Now, first thing, in this session, we learn how to use Scopus database to do literature review. Okay. And I explained there are two major form of the literature review you have to do. Okay, the first one is basically the construct based or the variable based literature. In first stage, you will explain about the variables. Okay, in first stage you will explain about each variable, dependent or independent, what are the meaning, what are the definitions about, and you will take it from the different researcher, from 5 to 10 researcher. And also you will explain here which type of methodology have been used more in that research. For example, more studies are qualitative or more studies are quantitative to measure that particular construct or particular variable. Okay, so this is the first part of your literature review chapter. Okay, clear? So if you have two variables, you will have two here two subsections. For example, subsection 1 and subsection 2. In my case, I have digital marketing and sales. So my first concept would be digital marketing and the second concept would be sales. So this would be two part for this session. Okay, for this section. Okay, clear? So the second part is about theoretical development. What are the related theories in the literature, which I already explained in previous class, and I gave you homework or class activity to write the theoretical development for that particular topic. Okay, so you can bring that theoretical development here easily, no problem. Okay, so it should be theoretical development also need to be 250 word minimum. Okay, and the next topic, the third section of your literature review chapter would be hypothesis development. This is where I see most of the students, they have not mentioned their hypothesis and they have not developed them uh, in different sections. So you have to develop hypothesis, and for each hypothesis you have to write at least 250 to 500 words. So if you have three hypotheses, then you have to write three times 250 to 500 words for each hypothesis. Okay, so make sure your writing would be on this number. Okay, so you have to write chapter 2 in this way. Okay, clear? Now if everything is clear, at the end of this chapter 2, you just write your conceptual framework, the graphical presentation of your research work, which I already explained in the previous lecture. Okay, now from my side, I think it is very clear. You have to practice, and then if there is any question, you can ask me. So now if there is any question, you can just ask me here. I want to ask, okay, Fermi Amir, I want to ask how if the article that I search is not found. Okay, you have to refine the search. If some keywords they are not working, you have to refine. For example, I did this similar situation I faced. For example, I face this situation when I write Facebook marketing and mention this inverted commas. So if you see, when I use this word Facebook marketing and sale and the Scoopus, it shows no document. There are two reasons: whether this article or this topic is so much new, that's why there is no article published in that, but that is not likely to be happen. The other possibility is my keyword is not correct. Okay, that is why Facebook marketing is not a regular term. We use digital marketing. So digital marketing is there. Facebook is concept. So just I use the word Facebook. I use one keyword. Okay. Now you have to readjust or rethink about your keywords and make it a standard keyword in order to get any related research with your area. Okay. So that is the reason. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now. Uh, Okay, summary. Whenever you are writing anything, the rule is this: first you are going to introduce, then you need to write the body, and then you need to write the conclusion. Let me just write it here for you. Writing should be like introduction. So for example, 2 lines. Then you have body, which may be 2 paragraphs, for example. And then finally you have to write okay. Now irrespective of what type of writing you are doing, this is the pattern you always need to follow for each paragraph, for each construct. Okay, for example, I am interested in writing one hypothesis. So hypothesis is based on Facebook marketing, Facebook, the relationship between Facebook marketing and the sales. So how I'm going to start? Okay, the recently Facebook have enormously used for this digital marketing purposes, and it has been seen that the sales of the companies have been increased while they are using Facebook marketing. This is the introduction. This is I developed from my side, and then similarly, person A have identified that the Facebook marketing has an effect on wildlife sales. Person A has the effect of, so person B, C, D, and then you explain everybody. Okay. So first introduce your concept, then bring the research from the different researcher, which I mentioned, minimum 5 and maximum 10, and then conclude. Okay. From these discussion, we can conclude that Facebook have a specific effect on sales. Now, introduction and conclusion should be in verse like similar, but conclusion you need to write 1 paragraph based on what you are writing in the body. Okay, so you can just conclude for each. Okay, so once you conclude, then at the end of conclusion you should write, okay, based on this discussion we can write our first hypothesis. Okay, once you complete this, then you have to write. Okay, this is the pattern of writing for each. Okay, is it clear? Okay, what if I receive 239 articles? So you can still, yes, you can still continue, download those 239 and sort them based on the number of year maybe, or based on the citation, most cited article. So what is citation? Citations mean one paper, other people they have uh, give that reference of that paper in their paper. So this is called citation. The more citation means that the paper is very much famous and many people have already cited that paper in their research. So in that case you can just take top 10 most cited articles. Okay, so you can download the Excel sheet and the rest of the work you can do in the Excel sheet. Just sort out the data based on the citation and then you can just top 10, you can take top 10. Okay, don't worry about how many numbers you receive, 500, 600, no problem. You can just extract the Excel sheet, and then you can just use the citation parameter for the most number of citation. But remember, the first you take latest article, for example 2020. In 2020, for example, you have 200 papers. From that 200 paper, you just take the top 10 highly cited papers. Okay, that would be easier for you. There is no problem. Okay, is the conclusion same with the hypothesis? No. Hypothesis is the claim, the proposition. The conclusion is about what other researchers are saying about that particular concept. Okay, uh, it can be referring to that hypothesis, like there is a relationship between the sales and Facebook marketing based on the previous researcher. Yes, it can be, but hypothesis still is a different thing, and you have to cite it at the end of that session. Okay. Is it we still need state when research or article? Okay, now inverted commas, when you have two concepts, for example digital marketing and organizational performance. Now if you see these two words, digital marketing and organizational performance, for example digital marketing and now this concept, now this concept of first keyword is comprised of two words. Okay, there are two words in that first keyword, and the second keyword, how many words for second keyword? It is also two keywords. Now if I search without inverted commas, just with this operational performance, so what it will search? Digital marketing and organizational and performance, not organizational performance as a single keyword. So if you want to restrict your search organizational performance as a one keyword, then you need to use these inverted commas. Okay, but unfortunately there is no article for that, but the concept is very clear. If you are not using inverted commas, it will take them each word as a separate keyword. Okay, but if you want to use two words for single keyword, for example digital marketing, digital and marketing, there are two words. Women entrepreneurship, then women and entrepreneurship, there are two words which comprise one keyword. Okay, which consists one keyword. So what you need to do, you need to use inverted comma. So no matter it is for relationship, no matter it is for your direct construct search, you have to see whether your keyword is comprised of one word or it is comprised of two keywords. Okay, so if it is two words, you have to use inverted commas. And remember, each keyword is a different inverted commas. If you have two keywords, so use two inverted commas differently. For example, digital marketing, one inverted comma; organizational performance, one separate inverted commas. Okay. Okay, so can you, for me, Ame, can you give me what is your title so I can see whether it is possible for me to search your, okay, let us see. And what are the keywords you are using? Can you type them? Okay, how many hypotheses we have to write? It depends on your research question and operational definition of your variable. Okay, for example, in my case, digital marketing, I'm just taking as a two concept. One is WhatsApp marketing and the second is Facebook marketing. So my hypotheses are only two, but it depends on your research work. So I would suggest you propose at least three hypotheses. Okay, at least three hypotheses. Okay, women entrepreneurship. Okay, let me just check. There should be a lot of research on this concept. I'm not sure why you are not getting this. So if you see, I'm receiving 282 articles on this. It means that maybe you are using a wrong spelling for women entrepreneurship or anything. For me, I think it is very simple topic and we have a lot of research available on it. Okay, so if you search, you can see you are finding out different. Okay, so there may be a possibility you are not using this correctly, or your setting is not fine, article, abstract and keyword. So please check whether it is okay or not. Okay, please try again, and if not, then you can just share your screenshot on the WhatsApp group so I can check why your uh, keywords had not been searched. Okay, if not, then I will just try to check with you. Okay. Okay, any further question? Thank you very much, uh, Dr. Ahmad. So I'll try to make this open for everybody. Thank you for your input. So I will try to make it available for everyone. Okay, any further questions, my dear students? If not, then we just conclude and you start your work. You have only 10 days to complete this class activity, and the class activity is very clear. You have to uh, clear these concepts, you have to apply, and you have to give me the literature review part, which is not complete literature review, but the way I mentioned, only 250 words for one construct and then 250 words for one hypothesis. So if you have three hypotheses, you just multiply and you follow this pattern. The purpose is to tell you how you can write your chapter 2 easily, but use those tables which I mentioned. You have to create the table and then you have to use this table in your chapter 2. Okay, and the writing, I make it very simple for you. Just use that Excel sheet, bring the data from the Excel sheet, write few words from your side, and your chapter is ready. So you don't need to copy and paste from other people work, so you can do it easily by yourself. It is not very difficult concept, but when you are copying from any other concept or you are following any other concept from the Excel sheet, at the end of each section you have to provide conclusion which is your own thoughts. Okay, so please try to summarize which you mention in the body of that text, and then try to summarize in one paragraph. That would be very easy for you to write your chapter 2. Okay, clear? Okay, Dr. Ahmed, thank you very much for listening me. I will try to make it open for everybody. Thank you. Okay, my dear students. Yes, we will save it live so you can see it later on. No problem with it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now I think all my students, you are clear. Can you mention here if it is clear, when we can just conclude the session and you can try to practice it. And when you have any difficulties, please write those difficulties with you and ask me before the next class, with the next class, or within the live session, so you can chat and you can discuss. But the most important thing is what you learn need to be applied. So please try to apply and give me those assignment as soon as possible. And if you can do it easily, it is okay. If there is any difficulty, I'm available. You can leave any comment. You can approach me through WhatsApp or through any other medium. Okay, thank you very much. And I think with this I will conclude this session, and I hope everybody is going to practice it. And if there is any difficulty, you can ask me and you can post the comment, so I'll try to explain those points. Okay, thank you very much and have a very nice day.